Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where sunseekers and snowbirds fly to Florida. Nonstop service on Allegiant Airlines to Tampa St. Pete and Orlando Sanford from Bloomington. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
An OSF exercise physiologist designs a device that helps a Bloomington kid stay active. She fights cancer. It's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Thursday, October 9th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with an Illinois State University researcher's frustrations with changing federal guidance on vaccines. WGLT student reporter Vashti Reed has more.
Professor Kelly Clemens studies people's beliefs and attitudes towards vaccines. She says the Trump administration's vaccine skepticism is a thinly veiled argument for exploring alternatives to vaccination, something she says is not supported by science.
They say they want to increase public trust in vaccination or overcome distrust. But then they are doing things that are increasing distrust by giving mixed messages, by turning away from evidence.
Just this week, the CDC accepted controversial new guidelines for the updated COVID vaccines that can make it harder for many people to protect themselves this winter. That change occurred because top Trump administration health officials like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say they have concerns about the safety and effectiveness of the vaccines, even though there is overwhelming evidence that vaccines are very safe and highly effective.
So as we hear an idea, as we hear vaccines are more dangerous, even if we don't buy into that, it shifts us little bits at a time. Even it doesn't necessarily mean I feel positive about that idea now. It doesn't mean that I totally agree with it, but maybe I feel less bad about it.
Clemens says people can still find credible information from sources like the American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics, as well as the Illinois Department of Public Health.
Right now, our federal sources of expertise are lacking in trust.
For The Leadoff, I'm Vashti Reed.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Senator Tammy Duckworth says the Trump administration's plan to send hundreds of National Guard members to Chicago is unconstitutional and an abuse of the American military. Duckworth is a retired Army National Guard lieutenant colonel. Golden Ticket Cinemas says they're getting closer to reopening a remodeled movie theater on Bloomington's far east side. Opening day for the Ale House Bloomington location is tentatively set for mid-October. And a dedication ceremony for the Van Leer Memorial Bell Tower in Normal marks the first time that tower has played music since 1979. The tower stands on the property of Broadview Mansion. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. 7-year-old Amani Stevenson from Bloomington is a second grader at Bent Elementary. She likes gymnastics and arts and crafts, and her favorite subject is math. But when WGLT's Lauren Warnicki asks Amani who she is, she says,
"That's complicated."
Fair enough, Amani. It is complicated.
Amani's amazing.
This is Charisma Morris Bush, Amani's mom.
She's an awesome kid. She's very, very strong, very wise, and again, like my mini besties.
Morris Bush says learning that Amani had Hodgkin's lymphoma turned her household upside down.
Obviously, I had to be supportive of Amani, so my sons had to adjust with not spending time with me as much. We obviously had to look for, to our community as a support system because there was no way that I was going to be able to do this on my own.
There was fear and anxiety around every corner, beyond the main stressor of having a cancer diagnosis. Amani had a central venous port implanted in her chest. While that means less pokes and prods every time you go for treatment, it also meant more things to worry about.
Because they would tell you, like, if it gets removed, she can get sick, you got to come right away, you're going to get a fever. There was all these guidelines behind taking care of it, on top of all the other things that you have to worry about.
Nick Kemp is an exercise physiologist for the Heller Center for Kids with Cancer in Peoria. That's a division of OSF Healthcare where Amani received treatment.
It's under the skin, but it's very sensitive still. Any types of bumps in that area cause kids to kind of be reserved or more cautious.
For Amani, that meant cutting back on favorite activities like gymnastics, plus all of the physical activity that comes from just being a kid.
Something changed that I cannot be on bouncy houses and stuff, but I really love all the stuff I couldn't do, I really like to do.
Kemp's job is to encourage children undergoing cancer treatment to stay active. When kids and parents told him they worried about bumping their chest ports, he started looking for ways to guard the site from impact.
There wasn't any products out there on the market that were fully covering it, fully protecting it. So I knew that I needed to then create something that would.
Amani tested a prototype of Kemp's port guard, which he developed with OSF's Innovation Center team. Mom, Charisma Morris-Bush, says she didn't hesitate to have her daughter test drive his product.
As a parent, I mean, that was one of the questions that I asked Nick. I have a very active daughter, who's been in gymnastics since she's 3. I mean, when she was 1, she was jumping off of dressers onto the bed. And having brothers, I had to explain to them, hey, all the rough housing, you guys can't do that anymore. Like, I know you guys like to punch each other in the shoulder, but we're not going to do that.
A hard plastic shell is designed to withstand up to 70-mile-per-hour impact, housed within a neoprene casing and worn sort of like body armor, with Velcro straps looped over the patient's shoulders. Kemp is now testing the product in other clinics and has obtained a patent. He's still refining the design based on feedback from families, making sure the port guard both stays in place and is comfortable for kids.
It's been a really wonderful journey, and I think that working with Amani and getting the feedback that she gave to us has been great, and just seeing kind of the return to activity, that's ultimately what my goal is.
Amani has now finished her treatment and her chest port has been removed. For Mom, Charisma Morris-Bush, and her family, Amani's brush with cancer has allowed them to form a new relationship with the diagnosis.
I lost my mother. I lost her when I was young, as soon as I became a mother. So I never had a mother to ask these questions about being a mother. So, of course, when I heard, I was just like, wow, again, it was already traumatizing enough experiencing that once, and then having to experience it with my own child. Instead of that, oh, well, this is kind of, the end of the road type sentence, it's not.
I'm Lauren Warnicki.
Support for WGLT health coverage comes from Carle Health. You can count on Carle as your partner in healthcare. Information at carle.org.
Before we let you go, the Bloomington Human Relations Commission meets today at 4:30 at the library's community room. On the agenda is discussion about a Minority Business Development Center apprentice program at Heartland Community College. And that is it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show was produced by Cheyenne Brown. You can subscribe to the Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.